by Riverside.
What's up, everybody? It's GQ and Boulevard here for another episode of Live from the Bench.
Woo! I like the red on all that stuff, but I'm point out I can't grow that much facial hair like I got in that picture. Not even close. It'd just be a straggler.
Yeah. But today we're gonna talk about something that's not as bright and uplifting as our normal content, because one thing a lot of people don't know about Boulevard and GQ is that Boulevard and GQ are in fact fans of the professional wrestling space. Well, we're just sports fans. Just the plain and simple. You get down to nitty gritty. We just love sports.
I love competition. Everything about it.
So that doesn't exclude the scripted and predetermined nature that is professional wrestling.
I watch professional chess. I don't care. It's just the whole spirit of competition that lures me in. I'm a sucker for it every time, like all aspects. So
I've observed my daughter in competitive cheerleading, and it's really serious. Like those girls are menaces. They be talking shit to each other, and I'm like, oh wow. But
a bunch of monsters.
Yeah. But today's episode, we're going to discuss the serious situation that is Vince McMahon, the mogul that is a complete and utter monster. The man's a monster.
He's a monster.
Boulevard. I'm sure everybody else has caught on. They've gotten wind of the story by now. We've got enough time. We looked at the report, looked at the lawsuit, been able to look through it and figure out wrap our heads around it a little bit. Vince McMahon is being sued. He's probably going to serve. He could serve time. I'm not sure.
But he's pretty sure it's just a thing, like a violation of NDA or something.
So he's being sued by former employee Janelle Grant. I don't care if putting her name out there embarrasses her. Listen, she put herself out there. So I'm not blaming her. She is the victim, and I'm 100% in support of her coming out and speaking her truth about the situation. So I mean, I'm going to bring her name into it because her name needs.
Some employee leaked her name a while back, but it's out there now for everyone to see. Yeah, it's common knowledge. Janelle Grant.
Yeah. And be honest, her name needs to be out there. They need to know who the victim is. Like, she needs her respect. She needs her due.
She damn sure do. I mean, shit. What happened to that woman should no human being should ever be subjected to when their man is a piece of shit. And
ever, I wouldn't subject it. I wouldn't put that.
If all of this is costing him is his so-called empire, it ain't enough, honestly.
Yeah, it's not.
The things that he put that woman through. Maybe she's not even the only one, but we'll probably get into that. It's like the worst of the worst. It's evil. It's pure fucking evil what he did.
Yes.
Take advantages and liberties to another human being. Yeah. To that level. It's appalling.
Yeah. So basically what happened, if you're not aware, you should get from underneath the rock and stop hanging out with Patrick Starr, because that rock that you're living in is making you oblivious to the real world. Vince McMahon, amongst other executives in the WWE, have committed violations and indecent assault. I remember those. Those.
He was being polite there, obviously.
Yeah, being polite and using those words.
Yeah.
to this young lady, and they basically told her and made promises that she'll move up in the company, give her opportunities. All they did was use her for pleasure and then manipulate her into not speaking her truth, trying to pay her off, threatening her, conducting acts that basically, I think we've gotten past the 60-second mark. So I can say this.
I do believe so.
I mean, the report wasn't private, right? It's not private. I can say this. It's public. Basically, he defecated on this young lady's head mid-X, which is disgusting. And that's amongst the many things that have gone on throughout. And so many
that's
people.
like the thing that takes front and center of the story, but it's so much more than that.
It's so in depth. And like Boulevard, I want to like take a step back and I want you to put your thoughts out there, because just like thinking about the whole story again, it gets me kind of riled up, makes me want to say things I don't know how much YouTube's terms and conditions are going to allow.
All right. YouTube's terms and conditions, I'm going to have to be respectful of all that when I say these things. But Vincent Man he's garbage. I mean, he's obviously just a terrible human being. I mean, to bring somebody in, promise them basically that they'll change your life and groom them over the course of time to basically be your sexual slave, that you could break someone down through words and broken promises and flat out lies and just take advantage of that person, to where you're out there getting her to take pictures for you, that you're showing off to your friends at work, your so-called tech boys and all that bullshit. Like, just disrespecting the hell out of this woman. And all this woman did was believe that you were going to help her. I mean, there's the whole boss employee thing. There's the whole older rich guy, young dumb girl. But no matter how you look at it, the man took advantage of the woman and then took as many liberties as he could, to the point where she'd be there was a part of the story where she was on the ground in the fetal position because he just decided he was going to role play where he was Lesnar and like basically just assaulted her. There was a time where she said we're in a story where she couldn't walk because of things he did with a toy that the toy wasn't supposed to do. I mean, and then when it got too hot, he basically pawned her off on other people, tried to send her to the UXFL, basically made her John Laurinaitis' slave, where they would do things together with her. Like, just total violations of a human being, and all that human being did was believe in you, and you broke that person down so fucking far that they obviously a defeated human being, because no one else would stand for that, but a totally broken human being. And the fact that you can laugh about it and take pictures and show them off and use her as bait to re-sign a wrestler, it's all despicable. It's all disgusting to me. And I don't think whatever fate he gets is enough. It's like, for something that's egregious, there should be actual fucking suffering. I know the man loves his money, but there should be real suffering. There should be suffering for him. There should be suffering for Laurinaitis. There should be, what was it? Executive number 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever they were called. All of these people were aware of this situation. They are all guilty by association because they let this shit continue. They allowed another human being to be subjected to this shit with their knowledge.
Yeah.
And turned the other cheek. They're all liable to me.
And what's appalling to me is I've seen the WWE board of directors. I've seen who is on it, who sits on it. I've seen the people who serve in the executive positions.
Right.
I've seen the org charts. I've seen it. And that makes me think to myself that this many people not only were in the building when it happened, but these many people kept their mouth shut and chose not to say anything for so long. And that's the problem for me because I'm a firm believer that if you know something's going on, say something, do something.
To that level, absolutely. Like you can't allow a person to go through something like that. You can't just stand back and let that type of indecency happen.
Yeah.
How can you look at yourself after you've allowed that to happen?
And you don't even have to know details. There's a way you hear stuff like, and the thing is, there's rumors that like throughout the document, they said there was rumors. People are hearing about it. At some point, if this man is coming to you saying, "Hey, you gotta do this because there are rumors," that means people know, and that means there are people that are out here talking about it. And if you're talking about it, and if you hear something while you're in passing, and you're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." If this is going on, we need to say something because at some point we're gonna like you're guilty. In my opinion, like if you knowingly if something is going on and you're aware of it, or you have like a semblance or some semblance of knowledge of it, or you just suspect that something is going on, say something to somebody.
All right,
And,
do something
and still to this day, there is no way that I can, and like there's no way that I can ever look at anybody at the WWE top to bottom that if you were there when this happened, you were in the company when that happened. I'm talking to you, Paul Levesque. If you were there when it happened, and I say this to this day, like there's a reason Stephanie McMahon walked out of the company. She didn't have to do that. She just said, "You know what? I'm done." She walked out. She could have stayed in and any whatever role she was in before, what she was the chief brand officer, she could have stayed. She could have took that when Vince came back after she took the co-chair and co-CEO position. She could have stayed and went back to chief brand officer, but she didn't. She chose to leave altogether. That means she was aware of something went down, and she said she was, "Nah, I'm not sitting there. Okay, this is my dad. I'm not going to get my dad in trouble, but I'm stepping away." Those who stayed, there's no way that Stephanie knew and Paul Levesque didn't. So that's why I look at Paul Levesque and I say, "Hey, Paul, you got some explaining to do, dude." Because I used to like you back in the day. I used to like create wrestlers on the WWE video games and model them after Triple H. Triple H was the dude that I used to WWE WrestleMania 2000. I used to create my player or my wrestler was designed after Triple H in a sense. Like I used to use his old music. So like Triple H has to sit there and be like, "Listen, I have a responsibility as the person that brings these people in to at least make these people feel safe." And you got a guy that you're working close with like James Laurinaitis, you have to be able to make sure that these people are safe. So if you're in an executive position at WWE, you have to have the wherewithal to say, I'm not going to allow this to happen. I'm going to take care of this person. I'm going to say something to somebody. It doesn't matter if you lose your job. You guys are well paid. You'll be fine.
Indeed.
And so, and that's just the way I see it. I feel like nobody in an executive role at WWE is they're innocent. They're not innocent. Even if you didn't partake, you are not innocent. That's how I see it.
There's so many ways to look at this. I mean, it's been a few days since the story's been out. We're a little late getting it out there. I mean, we heard a lot of different angles. People have talked about how it affects the family. That's pretty damn important. Where people are bringing up like old stories, like Ashley Massaro. You know, I've heard on it one show, guy was somebody she would call him crying because of the way Vince McMahon would approach her. She ended up having something happen to her in Afghanistan during tribute to the troops or something. And there's the referee that allegedly he forced her to do things to him in the limo in exchange for her job, and he had to pay her off not long ago to settle that case. There's the tanning salon down in Florida where he groped the lady. Like there's numerous stories over the years of this man being a sexual predator. So I mean, The only reason he lasted this long is because he didn't have to answer to anyone, for the most part. I mean, if you got in trouble, he could buy you out of trouble like he did with Snuka. So he was a danger. He was a danger. And it took forever, but they finally got his ass. But it's like, what gets me, like I said, with the different ways you can look at this, is like the family aspect. The man has many grandkids. He doesn't have a big family, but he's got enough. He's got a family. And he has to look all these people in the eye as he ages on and becomes more frail and, miserable as old people do. They're not going to, he's not going to have a relationship with his grandkids. He's going to be alone. Linda's gone. His kids, sure his kids aren't really going to be having anything to do with him. At least not where they can be seen, not in public. So, if he has no relationship with his kids, his grandkids aren't going to talk to him. His wife left him. All he's got is what's left of his money and no empire. And I still don't feel that's enough of a fate for him.
It's not. And speaking of his grandkids, like Declan McMahon, he's in college right now playing for I can't remember what football team.
I think it's Syracuse.
He's playing college football basically. And the thing is, these guys walk around with this man's last name. So they're gonna walk in and people are gonna be like, and this is the age of social media, it's everywhere. Anybody who knows of the name Vince McMahon are like, ooh. And I tell you, I was a young man, 10 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old watching WWE, and I barely had access. Now your kids have all the access in the world. So this is probably popping up on their timelines on their different devices, and they're seeing this.
All his grandkids can see it.
Yeah, and not only is his grandkids seeing it, but the kids they go to school with are seeing it, and they're looking at you like,
yeah,
your granddad did what? Your granddad shit on somebody's head? What? And now his grandkid doesn't want to go to school tomorrow because my granddad did something that I don't know how to explain that away. I don't know how to communicate that to my friends because my friends don't want anything to do with me now because of something my grandfather did. So,
your granddad's a sexual predator. He's a monster. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Best case scenario for him now is that he disappears completely, like Richard Simmons did.
Yeah, that's the best thing for him to do. Disappear, erase.
He can't be in public, can't be around society. He's a pariah.
And I will say this:
Cosby and OJ.
I say kudos to TKO Group. I say kudos to yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I can keep going. There's a lot of monsters out there, is the point.
Yeah. But I want to say kudos to TKO Group and the remaining executives at WWE. Nick Khan, Ariel from TKO, the new CEO. I say kudos to them because they didn't waste any time removing Vince McMahon from like any relation. They took his name off the sites, took his face off the sites. You'll probably see more and more them doing that. Because I believe Vince McMahon won the Royal Rumble in 1999. We know we just had Royal Rumble, and they were doing the tributes to all the Royal Rumble winners, and there was no mention of Vince McMahon's Royal Rumble victory. And it takes a lot for you to do something like that, to actually have to go in and remove things like that. So they didn't waste time. They knew this was a major thing for their marketing. It was a major marketing issue. Not only a major marketing issue, but just an issue in general. You don't want to be connected to anything like that because it does hurt your brand. So kudos to them for at least being smart enough to understand that, like, Ms. McMahon, this is the first time that your company, that your family started this, and now y'all have nothing to do with it, and it wasn't by choice. Like, you guys, you fucked it up for your whole family. You screwed. He ruined his family's legacy.
Yes, he did. Fast.
The
downfall is amazing. It really, you would think there it wouldn't even be a WWE without the McMahons.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I got one question before. Is Vince McMahon going to get into the WWE Hall of Fame?
Absolutely not.
All right. So he's basically Benoit.
He is. Honestly, there's more like, and honestly, I understand what happened with Benoit, but this happens every day. You know, people have mental breaks. Soldiers have mental breaks, and this is why I don't agree with completely removing Chris Benoit. Like, yes, acknowledge the situation that happened. It was a travesty. It shouldn't have happened. But I've seen soldiers commit this atrocity of S aside and H aside. I've seen it happen all the time. But it's a travesty. But the thing is, I've seen soldiers do it, and you're going to sit there and completely disregard everything a soldier does because he committed to travesty like that? No, you don't, because that soldier been through a trauma. And believe it or not, that happens with football players when they have CTE. And there's documented proof that Chris Benoit has been through different physical traumas that could have led to him having a mental break and completely losing his mind. So, I mean, acknowledge that a travesty happened, but don't completely erase him from the history books, because I'm sure enough, if he survived that whole ordeal, he'd probably never allow himself to live another day knowing that he did that. He punished, right. And I'm not completely saying that. I'm not saying I forgive what Chris Benoit did. That's not what I'm saying. Right. I'm just saying, in his situation, erasing him from the history books is a lot different than erasing Vince McMahon. What Vince McMahon did completely destroys everything that is legacy, because it's a stain on the history of WWE, because
the entire
because this is something that WWE could have prevented. WWE could not have prevented what Chris Benoit did.
WWE. Well, Vince is WWE, really.
Yeah. Chris Benoit is Chris Benoit. That happened inside his home. That has nothing. Like, WWE could have completely ignored that ever happened.
Right. But this is the whole company. This affects everything.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So Vince McMahon, 100%. And I'd go as far as to say that Vince really destroyed his family legacy. I feel like any McMahon hereby in the future, like, you can't even bring Shane McMahon back for a special, like, because
you really can't. You really can't.
Because, like, and the crazy thing is, like, he would get a pop, but
like,
you can't bring
anybody or anything like that.
Yeah, like, you can't do it anymore because Vince McMahon ruined that legacy. Like, there's no, oh my God, Shane McMahon is here. No, there's no, here comes the money. We can't do that. You can't do that. You ruined it, Vince. You can't get that pop. Everybody would love to see Shane McMahon pop up again. Here comes the money. Or, you know, Stephanie McMahon.
Last hope.
Yeah, like any of that, it's out of the question. Now you have to completely put a new face on WWE. Who's going to be the new face of WWE? That's my question. Here's my question. Knowing that how close Triple H is tied to this, do you keep Triple H in power?
Considering how close to step down, but that would be sad because he's invested.
Yeah, he's invested. And it's crazy. Like, you mess it up for everybody. That's the point there. Is like, you mess it up for everybody because believe it or not, Triple H is Paul Levesque, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He made himself into who he is. He just so happened to start dating Stephanie.
Right.
All those years ago. He didn't come into WWE because he was dating the boss's the boss's daughter. He came into the company because he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the gentleman or whatever he used to call himself. He was him, and then he became Triple H.
Right.
It sucks because he made himself in his decision to find love in the company. He just so happened to screw him over, ruin the legacy.
To find love.
It's like now you're looking at Stephanie. Is she like, ooh, don't go near Stephanie, It's like, ooh.
Well, that was the rule.
Yeah. and now we're looking at, ooh, Triple, you might have to step down too. You may have to like take your face off of everything because you're still tied to that family. You still like, who knows if Triple H, if TKO can look at Triple H and be like, are you not influenced by Vince? Can Vince still get in your ear? And that's just the whole thought process is like, you may have to remove him from his role and find a new face of the company. Like, and that's the question. Who becomes the new face of WWE?
Executive wise?
Yes.
Hopefully The Rock.
And that's so with that thought, because we could probably take it to a higher note now.
You did put him front and center in that one picture. Made sure to put him front and center. Yeah, Triple H all the way off to the right.
And this is why, and this is going to be it's going to take this whole story to a higher note. So we know one of the things that's been like frontline in the WWE day to day is the NOI family. Roman Reigns called himself the head of the table. Dwayne Johnson, he comes in and says, should I take a seat at the head of the table? Maybe he wasn't talking about Roman Reigns. Was he talking about taking that chairman of the board spot?
Could be.
Can Dwayne Johnson be the head of the table?
Head of the table, in fact.
That is the head of the table. And that is a thought that probably a lot of people haven't drawn that fact. It's almost to a point that it's like not scripted, but it makes sense now. It probably could be a story that saves everything. We go from one family to another.
The Rock versus Roman Reigns at Mania. Winner takes control of the entire company. Oh, that's fucking golden.
Yeah, the corporate Roman Reigns.
I mean, they won't forget what happened, but damn, that would be good. That would be good product. As Vince would say, that's some good shit.
And there's no reason why the WWE can't make. There's no reason that WWE cannot make The Rock the corporate face, or find somebody to be the corporate face of the WWE. Somebody has to be that guy.
Yeah, now, especially now, somebody's got to be there.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody. Is it Paul Heyman?
Putting Triple H.
Paul Heyman. He could be the story. He could be the story new CEO.
Yeah, story. Yeah, I mean, not in the reality world. No,
not in the reality world. But a board member stepping into that role it makes sense. And mind you, Endeavor owns. What is this? Endeavor owns TKO, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and The Rock came in as a board. He's a director that represents Endeavor. He doesn't represent WWE. He represents Endeavor.
No, but he got his name back. I saw. Now he's The Rock again. Instead of Dwayne The Rock.
Yeah. And he came onto the board as a representative of the parent company, Endeavor. So, hey, it can fit. I mean, I've seen people step onto a board seat and move into a chair seat. It's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Why not? You're not going to bring that dude Ariel in as the face, so find somebody else to serve as executive chair. Why not Dwayne Johnson?
Why not? He's right there. He's not a following. He's involved in other businesses, so yeah, you could do worse, I guess.
Yes, you could.
Because he's a popular face doesn't mean he's not out there doing work, like making money, making businesses productive, really just by his presence almost.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's all we have for this episode.
Yeah, I almost wish we had something to liven up that shit because that was kind of depressing.
It was, but it happens sometimes, and we'll probably get into some other awesome stuff. But I need to know in the comments. I want you all to let us know if y'all want to see more wrestling content from us. Let us know if there's some type of content that you would like to see here on Live from the Bench. Why not?
Yeah, I don't mean
we're a growing.
About it, but
yeah, let's see more content. I mean, I have no problem if you want us to put up a top 10 best champion or top 10 funniest superstar, anything you guys want to see, let us know in the comments. Boulevard and myself had no problem having
did you
some
just call me
fun.
Boulevard?
I might have. Who knows?
Damn,
Listen, there's a lot going on, and my mouth is moving 100 million. I'm going too fast right now. Anyway, to all that I say, we can all be starters. Boulevard can tell you what to do.
Okay, before I do that, I want to say one thing.
Ooh.
Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald has been named head coach of the Seahawks. And I was looking for something to follow it up with some levity. Would you like to discuss that before I say those final words?
Sure, we could.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. Sorry to hold y'all up. I know y'all were waiting for that catchphrase or whatever, but yeah. So what do you think about it? And like the recent defections from Seattle's defense?
I think it's obvious. I think it's a big thing because I can foresee that Seattle's defense is about to be pretty depleted after the Eagles are looking like they're just pickpocketing. They're just picking the Seattle defense up.
It really did.
Coaching staff. So I mean, Mike McDonald's they're gonna have to bring somebody in that's gonna be able to refill that defense. So why not? Why not? Good job. Congratulations to the Seahawks. You got a good coach. Hopefully he can be a good head coach. He won't probably not going to be the play caller. So there's always that.
Well, maybe maybe. But he's not going to be calling nothing for the
yeah. So I mean, I am excited for the Seahawks. I want to see what happens in Baltimore. Who they're going to move up? Who's going to get promoted? I love when I see things like this because you get to see more people step into new positions.
Yeah,
I have my opinion about when people get fired as a head coach. When you get fired as a head coach, because that's just a lot of money. But
a lot of people losing jobs because of it.
Yeah. So,
but that said, Seattle turning over their defense. Eagles basically just stripped them, as you said, of their defensive coaches. And it seems like they have an emphasis on development now.
Yeah.
Finally, developing these positions, which is something we made a point to complain about in the past, that they're not taking the effort. These players aren't getting better. So
100%. 100%. Because what you saw in Philadelphia, you've seen them lose position coaches, and instead of going out and getting proven position coaches, you just have people that were just sitting on the organization, sitting around and be like, hey, you want to be the wide receivers coach? You want to be the tight ends coach? Here, just do this. And they're like, well, I'm not really good. I just kind of been like, yeah, you'll be fine. That's kind of what I've been seeing.
It feels that way, don't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so bringing in coaches who have proven to have successful players or seeing players who've actually improved, good job. I am excited for this new D-line coach and new DB's coach. I'm excited to see that. I want to see
excited for that D-line coach. Holy shit. It's like the ghost
and
of shit.
Expected that Mike Caldwell's supposed to become the new linebackers coach. I don't know if you heard about Mike Caldwell becoming the Eagles linebackers coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm loving the new emphasis on development because that's what we've been lacking for years out of those positions. That's why the picks have been failing because nobody's building them up. How can they improve if they can't improve? Nobody's telling them how to improve because the person telling them don't know shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Such is the history of the last few years.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's only up from here because it was all down at last 7 games of the season. So it's all up from here. Positive thinking for next season. What we're seeing 100%. So far looks good. Yeah, I'm with it.
Also, in other news, Ben Johnson. I mean, you already put the video up. Ben Johnson, he's going to spend another year in Detroit because he was asking for too much money. He just like your first time head coach, dude. Stop.
Right.
Just take what everybody else is getting. You know, like just have a great year and then ask for more money next year. Like
I have a suspicion he did that on purpose because he didn't want to leave to begin with. But he wanted
I can see that. I can see that
interviewing and just left it out there in case somebody was actually going to give him the $15 million. But he had no intention of actually leaving Detroit.
Yeah, but that's actually pretty smart. I actually do it in my career when I throw out a large number, a high number, and see if somebody's going to bite. If they bite, hey,
who am I to say no?
Yeah,
but yeah, that's what it looks like to me, at least. Because
100%.
Why would he leave such a good thing? And it's only like year 2 of this good thing. So I mean, barring injuries or stupid maneuvers from the front office, they can still add pieces to this team.
Yes, 100%.
And they still have places where they can use those pieces. So
yeah,
it's a bright future over there. I don't blame them for not leaving yet. Leave when they start going downhill. Leave when Goff's on his way out, but don't leave yet.
Right.
No. Right.
I have one more thing to say before we close out.
Yes.
Because in the fan groups, I don't know if you saw it, but someone wanted to know who the voice behind the like, share, subscribe voice on some of the posts that we've been posting on the fan groups.
Is it
you know what I'm talking? The yelling, the like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, so it was like sounds like some Irish, Scottish, British something, dude.
Well, I just want to let everybody know that the voice behind the like, share, subscribe is yours truly. It is GQ. I am the guy who said like, share, subscribe. And I was actually going to let you guys know what you guys should do if you want to see us make more content. And then Boulevard's going to tell you what you can do. So before Boulevard
I'll tell them what they can do.
Yeah. So before Boulevard tells you what you all can do, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to do this. Like, share, subscribe. Boulevard.
Let them know what do you want me to let them know? Want me to let them know that they can all hit the bench.